Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead for my porch time today. I'm going to continue on with the subject of fall preparations here at Deep South. And when we're preparing for the fall, there's several different things around here we do in order to prepare. This particular video is going to be more targeted toward getting ready for the butchering season here at Deep South. We have several things that we're going to need to be butchering this year, so I want to talk a little bit about my room that I butcher in, talk about some of the things that if you're going to be running a homestead that you're going to probably need on your homestead to make butchering a little bit easier for you. First thing we're going to have to determine is what are we going to be processing. And we'll be processing at Deep South. We're going to be processing some chickens. We'll be processing deer meat, possibly if we get able to take a deer this year. We'll be processing pigs here. And in this particular room that I've designed here on our homestead, we have a winch system which has a gambrel on it that is hooked up against one wall in the room, which runs to the center of the room. There is a pulley at the top. Because our floor is designed, we have a drain system in the center of our floor so that we can wash down any animals. And the blood and the water and all goes out this drain system in the center of the floor. And you're going to see on the screen right here a picture of the gambrel system that we use in the winch system. Now, along with any room where you're going to be doing any kind of butchering, you're going to be needing some source of hot water. This year we've installed a hot water heater into our room where we'll have plenty of hot water to wash and clean utensils with. It's over in the back corner of our room here. You'll see a hot water heater that we've installed. We don't leave it on all the time. We only use it whenever we need to have good, hot, sterile tools that we're going to be working with. And some of the things that we use in here is we have a sink system that is a ceramic sink system that we use. We like that. It's got the washboards on each side of it. It's an old antique one that we use. That way we can bleach it down, because we bleach everything in the room all the time. Every time we butcher anything, we always bleach everything down. This sink system that you see here, it's one that actually came out of an old home, and we was able to refurbish it and use it here in our room where we do our butchering at. Now, along with the sink system, you're going to need an assortment of dish pans. Now, we buy the ceramic dish pans with the handles on them because they're so much easier to clean. We have some of the aluminum ones that we use sometimes, but predominantly we mainly use the ceramic ones. We've bought 2 of those to use in here so that when we're grinding sausage or anything like that, we put our meat in them. We also have the stainless steel trays that we put our meat in. As you can see, we have pictures of the dish pans, the stainless steel trays. You want to make sure you have the right equipment whenever you start doing any type of butchering. Now, one of the main things when butchering is you want to make sure you have an adequate set of knives and that you have the right knife for the right job. Now here we have an assortment of different knives that we use. We have what's called boning knives. We have just an assortment. We have cleavers. I have skinning knives, gutting knives. I have all these knives here, and we use each one for each process that we use. And not only that, we have a table here in the room. This table right now, we're in the process of completing it this year. We're going to be putting a coated top on it so that we can bleach it down also to work with the meat with. And this particular table here that you see, it has rollers on the bottom of it. We can roll it around in the room however we need to use it. It'll always be there for us to use in any way that we see fit. And we keep a couple of different ways to cut down through the middle of the backs on some of our animals and cut up some of our bones. We have as you see here in one of the pictures, we have the handheld meat saw or bone saw that we use there in order to be able to cut through bone and stuff. We have the hand one. And then occasionally, if I have a real big animal that I'm going to be butchering, I do use my Sawzall on occasionally, my reciprocating saw. to actually saw down through the animal because it's so much faster and so much easier. I've seen this done in slaughterhouses, and that's kind of what gave me the cue that that might be what I need to do in my building here also. We also keep in our room here, we keep rubber gloves, because we always try to keep rubber gloves on our hands when we're doing any kind of butchering to keep from having any type of cross-contamination. We keep a roll of butcher's twine here in our room, and because whenever we butcher, we like to tie the rectum off on any of the animals so that we don't get any type of spillage onto the meat and cause any type of spoiling or anything. We also have a cradle system that you can see here. We have that cradle system here. We lay it in the middle of the floor. We lay our animals on our back and hook the gambrel in their back legs, and as we're hoisting the animal up, we will cut the hide off and leave it actually laying in the cradle, so that it's a lot easier to skin the animal out that way, we've learned. Over here you'll see we have our own sausage grinder here that we use. It is a real nice sausage grinder because we do grind an extremely large amount of sausage each year. And then we have a meat slicer over so that when we cure our bacon, we have a way of slicing it up and packaging it in 1 pound packages. So that we can store it in the freezer that way. We found that that's the best size for us, and when we do it for other people, they really like it to be put into 1 pound packages. We use bacon hangers out here. If you're going to be curing your bacon, I would advise ordering bacon hangers because it seems to work really, really well for us here on the homestead. It makes it real easy to hang your bacon in the smokehouse, because if you don't use the bacon hangers, what happens is as your bacon's hanging in the smokehouse, it tends to get out of shape. It doesn't remain square. So if you've got the bacon hanger, it's a plus. And we show you one right here of the type that we also have a vacuum sealing system here, so that when we get through with our meat, we can vacuum seal it into the bags so that we can put it in the freezer and increase the shelf life on it. We do keep wrapping paper in our room here and tape. The marking pens, we keep those in here so we can write on our freezer paper. We keep all of our curing salt, stuff like that, in the freezer right outside the door. We keep an ample supply of casings to pack our sausage in. We keep an ample supply of seasoning to be able to season all of our sausages and our bacons with. Also, I want to mention here, we have our own chicken plucker that we have here. We've built this thing ourselves. It works really well. We don't use it all the time. You know, if we're doing less than 5 chickens, we just do them by hand. But if we're doing 5 chickens or more, or maybe say 10, 15, if we do 20, then we use a chicken plucker because it only takes like 5 to 6 seconds and the whole chicken's plucked. It does a really good job at it. And also, I want you to notice here, we have our own killing cones. We put our chickens down in the killing cones because it makes it a whole lot easier to process them and bleed them out that way. You don't have all the flopping around, the bruising and everything on them that way. So it really makes it a lot easier. Another thing we have here in our skinning room is we have these big, huge plastic tubs in here. When we're vesicrating animals and stuff like that, we put these tubs underneath them so that it makes it a whole lot easier to keep it clean and we don't have the mess to contend with. So you might want to consider purchasing some of these tubs. You can get them at Walmart or anywhere like that. And they make it extremely easy when you just go to start doing your cleanup afterwards. You don't have a mess everywhere. You'll notice in my skinning room here, I have put galvanized tin on all the walls around on the inside of it. Now, they're all sealed so that in the event I need to spray the walls with a water hose or anything like that, the galvanized metal is not going to hurt anything. And if you start from the bottom, putting it up to the top piece will always overlap the bottom piece so that when water gets on it, it never runs in behind the walls or anything like that. And also you can turn around, and if you look over here, we also have a picture of an air conditioner. We have an air conditioner in this room so that in the event it's not cool enough in here, we can turn this air conditioner on. We can chill this room down to a temperature that's comparable so we don't have any type of spoilage on our meat taking place, just simply because we can keep the temperature of the room controlled. We carry the PVC aprons so that in the event that we're not wanting to get anything on our clothes or anything, we have these blue aprons here that we can put on, and they actually keep the any of the spillage from the animal or blood specks or anything like that. They actually go on the apron and we don't have to worry about getting anything on our clothes. We also keep an ample supply of Ziploc bags, the 2-gallon ones predominantly, because that's what we put our bacon in to cure in the refrigerator that we use. It's just an array of stuff that we keep here, and hopefully some of these things that we've mentioned here is some of the tools that you'll be able to use on your homestead also. And maybe it'll make butchering a little bit easier for you on your homestead if you just take in mind and look at the room that we've designed here. And hopefully you'll be able to see that your room doesn't have to be designed exactly like ours. We've just decided that this type of room is a little bit more functional for us. So hopefully some of these tips has been a blessing to y'all, and you'll be able to use them on your homestead, because we found them on our homestead here to be a blessing. I think this should probably complete everything that we have in our room here. Thank you from Deep South Homestead.